The champagne flute shattered against the marble floor, a jagged scream of glass that silenced the room. I stood frozen, my hand still outstretched, the sting of my wife's boss's words burning hotter than the spill of golden liquid soaking my shoes. "What's it like?" he'd said, his voice slick with mockery. "To be the guy who's only here because his wife pays the bills?" The crowd's laughter had been a blade, slicing through the haze of the gala, but it was Claire's face, her averted eyes, her tight-lipped smile, that cut deepest. She didn't defend me. She didn't even look at me. The ballroom glittered under chandeliers, a cavern of wealth and pretense. Men in tailored suits and women in sequin gowns swirled around us, their chatter resuming like a tide swallowing a scream. The air smelled of lavender perfume and roasted lamb, but all I could taste was the sour tang of humiliation. My tie felt like a noose. Claire stood a few feet away, radiant in her emerald dress, her auburn hair catching the light as she leaned toward her boss, Daniel, murmuring something that made him chuckle. My stomach churned. Was it just me? Or did her hand linger too long on his arm? I'd always trusted Claire. 10 years of marriage, 2 kids, a mortgage we could barely afford. Our life wasn't perfect, but it was ours. She'd climbed the corporate ladder at this tech firm, her ambition a quiet fire I admired. I was the stay-at-home dad, the one who packed lunches and bandaged scraped knees while she closed deals. I didn't mind. Or at least, I thought I didn't. But lately there were cracks. Late nights at the office, her phone angled just out of my sight, the way she'd flinch when I asked about her day. Small things. Rational things. Until tonight. Daniel's voice carried over the hum of the party, his broad shoulders blocking Claire from my view as he addressed the room. "To our star, Claire, who's single-handedly saving this company." Another laugh, this one warm, approving. I watched her beam, her eyes sparkling in a way they hadn't for me in months. My chest tightened. Was I imagining the way Daniel's hand brushed her lower back as he guided her toward the stage? The way she didn't pull away? I sipped my whiskey, the burn doing little to dull the unease coiling in my gut. The room felt too warm, the lights too bright. I scanned the crowd, catching snippets of conversation. Stock options, quarterly reports, someone's yacht. I didn't belong here. Claire had insisted I come, said it was important for her career. Just smile and nod. She told me that morning, her tone clipped as she adjusted my tie. I'd laughed it off then, but now her words felt like a warning. The band struck up a jazzy tune, and couples drifted to the dance floor. I caught sight of Claire and Daniel near the stage, their heads bent close, her laughter sharp and bright. My fingers tightened around my glass. She hadn't laughed like that with me in years. I tried to shake it off. Jealousy was a poison, and I wasn't that guy. But then I saw it. Daniel's hand slipped into his pocket, and a glint of gold caught the light. A bracelet. He pressed it into Claire's hand, his fingers lingering, and she didn't pull away. She slipped it into her clutch, her eyes darting around the room. Not to me. Never to me. My heart thudded, a dull roar in my ears. It could be innocent. A gift for her work, a bonus, a trinket. But the secrecy in her glance, the way her shoulders stiffened when she caught me watching. It wasn't right. I set my glass down, the clink against the table too loud in my head. I needed air. I needed answers. The balcony doors were heavy, the cool night air a slap against my skin. The city skyline glittered below, all sharp edges and distant lights. I leaned against the railing, my breath uneven, replaying every moment of the past few months. The late-night texts she'd dismissed as work. The perfume I didn't recognize on her coat. The way she'd stopped saying, "I love you" first. I told myself it was stress, that marriage ebbs and flows. But now, standing alone in the dark, I couldn't lie to myself anymore. "You okay out here?" Claire's voice startled me. She stood in the doorway, her dress shimmering like a mirage. Her expression was soft, concerned, but there was something guarded in her eyes, a wall I couldn't breach. "Fine," I said, my voice rougher than I meant. "Just needed a break from the circus." She stepped closer, her heels clicking on the stone. "Daniel can be a jerk sometimes. I'm sorry about what he said." I studied her face, searching for the woman I'd married. "Why didn't you say something? You just stood there." Her lips parted, but no words came. She looked away, her fingers twisting the strap of her clutch. I didn't want to make a scene. It's my job, Tom. You know how important this is. More important than me? The question slipped out before I could stop it, raw and jagged. Her eyes flashed, a mix of guilt and defiance. That's not fair. Isn't it? I stepped closer, my voice low. What's in your bag, Claire? Her face paled, just for a second, but it was enough. My stomach dropped. What? The bracelet. From Daniel. What's that about? She laughed, but it was brittle, forced. It's nothing. A thank you for the project I closed. You're being ridiculous. Am I? My voice trembled, and I hated it. Because you don't look at me the way you look at him. You don't laugh with me like that. And you sure as hell don't hide gifts from me. Her silence was louder than any confession. The air between us crackled, heavy with unspoken truths. I wanted her to deny it, to laugh and pull me into her arms, to tell me I was wrong. But she just stood there, her eyes glistening, her hands trembling. Tom, she whispered. It's not what you think. Then what is it? My voice broke, and I didn't care. Because I'm standing here, watching my wife slip away, and you're not even fighting for us. She opened her mouth, but the words never came. Instead, she turned away, her shoulders shaking. And that was when I knew. The truth wasn't in her words. It was in her silence, in the space where our love used to be. I pushed past her, back into the ballroom, my blood roaring. The crowd blurred, their faces a smear of privilege and indifference. Daniel was at the microphone now, his voice booming with some self-congratulatory speech. I didn't think. I didn't stop. I marched to the stage, my hands shaking with rage and heartbreak. Excuse me, I said, my voice cutting through his. The room fell silent, all eyes on me as I took the mic from his startled hands. Claire was at the edge of the crowd, her face pale, her eyes wide with panic. I'm Tom, I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. Claire's husband. You know, the guy who's only here because his wife pays the bills. A few nervous laughs rippled through the crowd, but I wasn't done. I've spent 10 years loving a woman who's standing here tonight, hiding secrets from me. Secrets like the bracelet her boss gave her. Secrets like the late nights, the texts, the distance I pretended not to see. Claire's gasp was audible, a sharp intake of breath that echoed in my chest. Daniel's face darkened, but I didn't care. The room was a pressure cooker, every eye locked on me, but all I saw was her. I trusted you, I said, my voice cracking. I built my life around you. And now I'm standing here, wondering if any of it was real. The silence was suffocating. Claire's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't move, didn't speak. The crowd shifted, uncomfortable, but I wasn't finished. So here's to you, Daniel, I said, turning to him, my voice dripping with venom. Thanks for showing me what I'm worth. And Claire. My voice broke, but I forced the words out. I hope it was worth it. I dropped the mic, the feedback screeching through the room like a wounded animal. I walked out, past the stunned faces, past Claire's trembling form, into the night. The city swallowed me, its lights blurring through the tears I refused to let fall. Behind me the party crumbled, but I didn't look back. Some truths, once spoken, can't be undone.